Since Beyond Light dropped on November the 10th, there has been a bunch of feedback from the community saying it didn't feel like there was enough loot in the game. So we've just been through the sunsetting process, so many of our old weapons, like Spare Rations, Beloved, Mindbender's Ambition, they're all sunset and no longer relevant in the endgame. In Beyond Light we have the new Europa weapons, then we have the weapons from Season of the Hunt, plus the Adept Trials weapons. However, the feedback has been strong, and apparently Bungie agrees, so they are bringing back a whole bunch of weapons from Season 10 and Season 11, which is great news as there's some absolutely fantastic weapons in there. So today I'm going to look at some of the best returning weapons from Season 10 and Season 11 in Destiny 2 Beyond Light. And don't forget, if you're new around here, hit that subscribe button down below for all the latest Destiny 2 content and turn on notifications by hitting that bell. So first things first today, let's have a look at what Bungie said in the latest update from this week at Bungie. So as Beyond Light has launched, we've been tracking your feedback around loot, particularly weapons, and wanted to take this moment to let you know how we're processing it. Today we're mostly going to be talking about the short term, with more information to follow in the future around the long term as we work through these problems. Infusion caps are intended to help keep Destiny 2 evolving and ensure that every release of the new rewards are exciting and relevant to the meta. However, we agree with your feedback that there's currently not enough variety in the world loot weapons available to players this season. To that end, we are adding back a selection of weapons that will help alleviate this issue, and we will also be watching to see how the landscape changes with the addition of the weapons from Season 12 and this week's raid launch. And we also agree that getting near cap weapons from random world drops is frustrating. Thus, we are removing those from the pool and awaiting drops more heavily towards newer weapons. So here are a list of adjustments to the world loot legendary weapons pool that you're going to see with our November 24th hotfix. So they're going to remove all legendary weapons that hit their infusion cap at the end of the season. They're going to add in all the 7th Seraph weapons from Season 10, that is fantastic. They're going to add in all the Season 11 seasonal and planetary reprised weapons, that means Falling Guillotine, so the weight drop chances so the newer an item is, the more likely it is to drop. So while we're not ready to dive into the long-term strategy yet, we are listening to feedback and watching how the player build landscape evolves over the first few weeks of Beyond Light and incorporating that feedback as we plan out future seasons. Feedback never stops and we're always excited to hear how you're feeling about Destiny 2, so keep it coming. And it looks like these are going to be dropped back into the game on Tuesday, 24th of November, which is next week. So this is great news for a few reasons. More loot is the obvious one, but in this list there's some great weapons and also tools for creating builds. For example, the 7th Seraph and Ikelos weapons can spawn Warmind cells, which make for destructive builds in PvE. So Warmind cells were never really explained very well in the game, but these weapons combined with those Warmind mods can make you feel like a destructive tank in Destiny 2. So as these weapons are being added into the world loot pool, that means they're going to drop from all kinds of activities. Okay, so with that good news out of the way, let's have a look at the list of weapons to look out for once they come back. So first up, we got Temptation's Hook, and Temptation's Hook is a heavy sword that comes with some interesting perks and a whole host of benefits. So first of all, it's a caster frame, so you can launch a heavy projectile attack, and the attacks are stronger when you have full energy. It can also drop with Surrounded, where the weapon gains bonus damage with 3 or more enemies in close proximity. And the curated roll comes with Tireless Blade, where you get sword ammo for every powered kill, and Surrounded, like we mentioned before. It also comes with Balanced Guard for good all-round balanced defences, and Honed Edge for an increase in damage. Next up we've got the Ikelos SMG, and we first saw this one back in Destiny 2 Year 1 with the release of the Warmind expansion. So the Ikelos SMG is a legendary energy submachine gun that deals arc damage. It's aggressive frame SMG, which means high damage and high recoil. So the curated roll comes with Disruption Break, where breaking an enemy's shield makes them more vulnerable to kinetic damage for a short time, and Grave Robber, where melee kills reload a portion of the weapon magazine. It's also got Seraph rounds, where bullets overpenetrate targets and bounce off hard surfaces, and Corkscrew Rifling for that slight increase in range, handling and stability. So for PvE, I would go for something like Disruption Break and Grave Robber as per the curated role. Vorpal Weapon plus Threat Detector would also be a good choice. So for PvP, Tap the Trigger and Dynamic Sway Reduction would be good. So personally, I tend to use this more in PvE than PvP because it's a 700 RPM SMG, and I don't know if that is going to match the TTK of others in Crucible. It's worth trying out, but I find this one better in PvE, especially with those Seraph rounds, as you can spawn Warmind cells. So next up, we've got the first in, last out slug shotgun. So this one is a precision frame shotgun, meaning the recoil pattern is much more predictable, and this one can also roll with Vorpal weapon, which is a really nice perk whether in PvP or in PvE, so it is definitely going to have some versatility. It deals arc damage and sits in the energy slot. So the curated roll here comes with Vorpal weapon for that increase in damage against bosses, vehicles and guardians where they're super active, and it also comes with pulse monitor for that automatic reload to the magazine and improves weapon handling when critically wounded, even when the weapon is stowed. Also assault mag for that increase to stability and the rate of fire, and finally it's got rifle barrel for that increase in range and decrease in handling. So for PvE, I would go for something like Surrounded and Vorpal weapon, or maybe pair that up with Outlaw. For PvP, Opening Shot and Slide Shot would be a good roll. So next up, we've got the Ikelos Sniper, and this is a legendary energy sniper that deals solar damage. It's a rapid frame sniper, meaning deeper ammo reserves and faster reloading when the magazine is empty. So the curated roll here comes with box breathing, where aiming with this weapon for a short period without firing grants bonus range and precision damage, and it also comes with triple tap, where rapidly landing precision hits will return 1 round to the magazine, and it also has Seraph rounds, which I think is unique to the sniper, plus full bore, which increases range and decreases stability and handling speed. So for PvE, I would go for something like box breathing or high impact reserves, and pair that up with either triple tap or 4 times the charm. For PvP, quick draw and moving target would be your best bet, as we don't have snapshot sights. So next up, we've got the 7th Seraph Saw, and this is a legendary power machine gun. So it's a high impact frame, slow firing and high damage, and this weapon is more accurate when stationary and aiming down sights. So looking at the stats, it's got 70 for impact, 66 for range, 30 for stability, 35 for handling, 38 for reload speed, and it's a 360 rounds per minute machine gun with 43 in the magazine. So the curated roll comes with Grave Robber and Vorpal weapon, and for PvE, Clown cartridge and firing line would be good, but maybe don't use this one in PvP as it's quite slow. So next up, we've got Cold Denial, and this is a legendary kinetic pulse rifle that sits in the high impact frame archetype. So up until Season of Arrivals, they weren't really getting much attention. However, in update 2.9.0, Bungie said that high impact pulse rifle damage per bullet goes from 21 to 22, and that changes it from 6 crits to 5 crits on one body to kill a guardian in PvP at most resiliences. So that may not sound like a lot, but in practice that is a really good change. The curated roll comes with Headseeker, where body shots landed with this weapon increase precision damage for a short time, and Zen Moment, where causing damage with this weapon increases the stability. Also comes with Flared Magwell for that increase to reload speed and stability, and Small Bore for that increase in range and stability too. So for PvP, either Storm and Zen Moment would be really good, and for PvE, Multi-Kill Clip and Feeding Frenzy would be a good choice there. Extended Barrel is pretty nice in relation to the range, and Chambered Compensator is also good, and it'll feel much smoother in your hands. So this one also comes with ricochet rounds, as you'll have another boost to stability and range, and the rounds also bounce off surfaces, which can be nice, but it's unlikely you're going to get too many kills in this way. So next up, we've got the 7th Seraph CQC shotgun, and this is a legendary energy shotgun, so it's lightweight frame, meaning you've got superb handling, and you move faster with this weapon equipped. For the curated roll, it comes with Shield Disorient and Lead from Gold, and for PvP, this one can roll with Quick Draw and Snapshot Sights. So for PvE, Trench Barrel is an absolute must. So talking about shotguns, next up we got the Ikelos shotgun. So this is hands down one of the best shotguns in the game. So the Ikelos shotgun was originally introduced into the game during Season 3 of Destiny 2 through the Warmind expansion. So the curated roll comes with Threat Detector for that increase in reload, stability and handling speed, and Tactical Mag for that increase in stability, reload speed and magazine size. Also Rifle Barrel for that increase in range, and Trench Barrel, where after a successful melee hit there's an increase in damage, handling and reload speed for a short duration. So this one can also drop with Vorpal weapon, an Elemental Capacitor, and Disruption Break in the final perk slot, and in the third slot this one can roll with Feeding Frenzy, Firmly Planted and Moving Target. In PvP, I'd go for something like Moving Target and Disruption Break, and for PvE, Vorpal weapon and Feeding Frenzy would be a good option. But also, don't forget about Trench Barrel. And finally today, we've got the #1 pick for returning legendary weapons in Beyond Light, and yes, it's Falling Guillotine. So Falling Guillotine is a legendary sword that sits in their power weapon slot and deals void damage, and it comes with Vortex Frame where you can launch a heavy spin attack, and heavy attacks are stronger with full energy, and also attacks bypass elemental shields. So the curated role comes with Energy Transfer, where guarding while receiving damage generates class ability energy, and Whirlwind Blade, and also Enduring Blade for that increase in sword ammo, and Heavy Guard for those high overall defences. So for PvE, you want to be looking for something like Relentless Strikes, for landing 3 light attacks within a short time grants sword ammo, and also Whirlwind Blade. Relentless and Whirlwind is a pretty good combo for all swords, but this one especially when you're dealing big damage with that heavy spin attack. For PvP, Counter Attack, where blocking an enemy immediately after guarding increases the damage for a short duration, and Tireless Blade, where sword ammo granted for every powered sword kill is a decent roll. And players rejoice, Falling Guillotine coming back. I've had so many people ask me either in game or in the comments, how can I get hold of Falling Guillotine in Beyond Light? And I was like, you can't, you have to be there in Season of Arrivals. But now this one is coming back. It's absolutely fantastic news. Well, let me know what you think down there in the comments of the returning weapons. And that is it for this guide for the best returning weapons from Season 10 and Season 11 in Beyond Light. And thank you so much for watching. For more Destiny 2 content like this, hit that subscribe button down below and subscribe to This Week in Video Games. If you want to join the community, check out the Discord link in the description, or you can follow me on Twitter at TWIVG Podcast. If you enjoyed this video, I found it useful, liking and sharing the video would really help me out. Otherwise, check out the other videos on the channel. Thanks again, I'll see you in the next video.